Okay, in this video, we're going to look at graphing points in 3 dimensions, or what we call R3. So just like in R2, you can represent points or vectors in R3. However, in R3, you need to not just look at the coordinate plane, the XY plane, you need a XYZ coordinate system. Um, so the way you draw that so you need 3 axes, X, Y, and Z. Um, So we'll draw these 2 axes here, which you could think of as being flat on the page. The third one is a little bit tricky to do on a two-dimensional surface, like I'm drawing on a computer screen, or you would be drawing on your page. You have to draw another axis, but you have to think of that one as coming out perpendicular from these two. But on the two-dimensional page, you would draw it sort of like this. And you're sort of visualizing this axis as being perpendicular to both. So this would be a right angle, and so this one here would be a right angle. So this axis is kind of coming straight out of the page, and that gives you your 3 axes and allows you to graph things sort of in 3 dimensions. Now, the traditional or standard way to label these axes, the two which are flat on the page, we call our y and our z axes, and the one that you visualize as coming out of the page, we call our x axis. Okay, so that's this. You don't have to do it this way, like you could switch it up, but it's just like with the x and y axis in 2 dimensions. This is the standard way to do it. So now let's just look at an example where we're actually going to plot a point. So I want to sketch or draw the point. We'll just take a very simple one, 1, 2, 3 in R3. Okay, so we need our axes. So one thing I didn't mention, but we'll do now, is when you draw these axes, like we only need our positive axes. So remember the x-axis is the one coming out of the page. The positive direction will be sort of coming out of the page, and the negative direction would be going into the page, but we don't need that. For the y-axis, which is the one that goes sort of left-right, just like on a R2, to the right is positive, and for the z-axis, which is up and down, or vertical, up is positive. So we want to draw this point 1, 2, 3. So the challenge here is we're drawing a 3-dimensional point on a 2-dimensional surface. So you have to kind of create a way to give this this 3-dimensional illusion. So what we're going to do first is think about where x equals 1 would be. So if you start at 0, 0, you're going to put your scale on. So notice the way I'm sort of drawing these scale marks is to kind of create that 3-dimensional illusion. So this would be the point 1, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. So this point right here would be the point 1, 0, 0. Okay? And now I need y2. So if I put my scale on my y-axis, so this is the point, so that's 0, 1, 2. So this point here would be the point 0, 2, 0. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw sort of a rectangle like this. And this point here is the point 1, 2, 0. So it's sort of flat. It's on what we call the xy plane, right? Because the z value is 0. Now the third value is z equals 3. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. So this point here on the z-axis would be the point 0, 0, 3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sort of a rectangular prism using these points. So I draw this sort of the way you probably have learned to draw a box in 3 dimensions. So I've kind of got this rectangular prism. So this rectangular prism has, I guess, 8 vertices, or 8 corners. And you could label all 8 corners if you want. You don't have to. Sometimes it helps. So we've already labeled 4 of them. The other 3 at the top, like this point here, it's on the YZ plane. So that would be the point 0, 2, 3. And this point over here is on the XZ plane, and that would be the point 1, 0, 3. But this point here, I'll do it in a different color here. This point here, that's the point 1, 2, 3. Okay? So by drawing this rectangular prism, I can kind of give this point, which is placed in a 3-dimensional space, depth on this 2-dimensional page. So it gives you an idea of where the point actually is in R3. And anytime you graph a point in R3, you need to draw this rectangular prism in order to kind of give that illusion of depth, or that 3rd dimension, because you're drawing on a 2-dimensional surface on a 2-dimensional page. So that's how you draw points in R3.